Welcome friends. In this particular video, we will be focusing on anthropology as an optional. This is a complete course where we will do every topic, and this is the introductory video for every topic that we are going to discuss in future. Very early thing that I would like to start is the marking. Anthropology or any other optional, it is of 500 marks. It is divided into two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, both of 250 marks each. It is often seen that paper 2 is not lengthy as compared to paper 1. Paper 1 is very lengthy, but student often gives paper 1 a lot of importance as compared to paper 2. This should not happen. Our focus should be scoring more than 150 marks in both the papers. Okay, so this in order to introduce what and how we are going to start with our lectures, this is the syllabus that I would like you to take a view. This is paper 1, unit 1. In the unit 1, we will be discussing about meaning, scope and development of anthropology. In paper 1, 1.2, paper 1, chapter 1.2, we will be doing with the relationships that anthropology is having with the different disciplines such as social science, behavioral science, life science, medical science and earth science and humanities. In 1.3, we'll deal with the branches of anthropology. I would like student to understand that either from this or from this, one question is fixed. There are 4 branches of anthropology. In the 4 branch, the mainly focus is on their scope and relevance. That is what we are going to study in this section. So the first type is sociocultural anthropology, second is biological anthropology, we also call it as physical anthropology, third is archaeological anthropology, fourth is linguistic anthropology. See, in order to begin with a subject, this is very important that we should have a basic idea of the subject that we are going to learn. The basic idea comes from the syllabus, and this is very important for every aspirant to understand syllabus first. Decoding syllabus is the half work done. After decoding syllabus, what our approach is that we will be doing questions and then we will try to write the answers in 150 to 300 words each. The answers may sometimes reach 400 words, but then it's up to the student to write what is relevant in the examination. We will try to do each and every topic which is there in the syllabus. In this way, we will be able to complete our course well before in time. The lectures will be mostly in 30 minutes to 1 hour period of time, and I would assure the student not to worry. Lectures will be continuing in nature, so there will not be any yes, there may be chances of delay of 1 or 2 days, but they'll be on time. In 1.4, it comes under physical anthropology, that is biological anthropology, the biological and cultural factors of human evolution, theories of organic evolution, that is pre-Darwinian, Darwinian and post-Darwinian. Then we'll do the synthetic theory. Then we'll do some rules. See, Dole's rule, Cope's rule, Gauss's rule, parallelism, convergence, etc. These are the points from where at least we get 1 or 2. In the 5, question number 1 or question number 5, we will get something called a short note on this particular point. Then comes to the characteristics of primate, where we'll do the trend and taxonomy, adaptation, what are the similarities that they are having with the human, the anatomical comparative anatomy of man and ape. These type of questions are asked. So one question definitely from these area. Then we'll go to paper 1.6, paper 1, topic 1.6, where we'll study the phylogenetic status, characteristics, geographical distribution, etc. Then these are the some of the important names that being an anthropologist you will hear, that is Homo erectus, right, from where they got their names come from. For example, Javanicus or Pekinensis, Javanicus from Java, Pekinensis from Pekin. Then comes Neanderthal man, then its type, then Rhodesian man, Homo sapien, Cro-Magnon man, Grimaldi, and Chancelet. I'm sorry if there's something which I mispronounced, but these are the things. One question, the recent trend suggests that one question at least come from this particular point. In 1.7 and 1.7 particularly, this will be your beginning, because there is something that we start, such as cell, which is the basic unit of an organism. Then DNA structure, replication, protein synthesis, it will come in 1.7. See, as such, direct question do not come from this area, but in order to study paper 1, chapter 9, 1.7 is very important, because this is true that most of the people who are doing or taking anthropology are not do not have biology as their background. So this is something which gives them the basic idea of the subject. Then in 1.8 we'll start with the archaeology. 1.8 we'll start with the archaeology. Then there comes the archaeology. Then relative and absolute dating. One question definitely comes from archaeology, and this is a potential area from where the question comes. Then we'll talk about the cultural evolution, wherein we'll discuss about Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, and Chalcolithic. After doing that, we'll move to Bronze, Copper Bronze Age, and Iron Age. Paper 2, and from the topic 2.1, it's the manifestation of Sociocultural Anthropology. So from paper 2, the Sociocultural Anthropology begins. In paper 2.1, we'll do culture, concept, characteristics. See, this topic may look very lengthy, but I have some short things which are directly related to the topic. After studying them, it will be very easy to attempt any question which comes from culture or from society, from marriage, family, etc. See, marriage as a topic is very important here, because at least from this section many question comes. So one topic we can be sure that one question may come from this particular topic. For example, definition. See, when we are dealing with the answer writing of sociocultural anthropology, there is a format. We will be dealing with how to write answers in the next lecture, but in this particular video we will be mostly focusing on our syllabus, right? Okay, moving further, now we come to the topic of kinship. Kinship is the relation that we as a social animal have with our surrounding. They may be our blood kin, or they may be through the marriage or other type of relation, formal or informal. Then comes the economic organization, political organization, religion. These completes the sociocultural anthropology, and this is a very scoring area, and this is also the area where the answers needs to be more precise. For example, in political organization, band, tribe, chiefdom, kingdom, state, etc. This some or the other thing comes from this area. So this is some high point for us to prepare for the examination. In religion, we get a lot of questions like anthropological approaches. Then there is a lot of things like religion, magic, science, distinguishing the functionaries, etc. This will also come, and we will also try to write answers on this particular point. The next is anthropological theory. See, in order to begin our lecture, we will be beginning our lectures from unit chapter 1, and we will do first paper 1.1 to paper to chapter 1.4, where we will start with the basic anthropology. But after doing that, we'll jump to the paper chapter 6. In chapter 6 is very important in order to make sure that we are having right names for the right person. When we are writing answers for the sociocultural anthropology, it is very important that we should have the name of the writers, the scholars which are associated with the subject. For example, when we are writing something about classical evolutionism or simply evolutionism, we need to have in mind that Tyler, Morgan and Fraser are someone who are classical evolutionists. Then when we will be discussing about historical particularism, or in paper 2, paper 1 chapter 2, when we'll be dealing with sociocultural anthropology, there will be getting the concepts like cultural relativism, etc., which are the child of Franz Boas. Then diffusionism, functionalism of Malinowski, structural functionalism of Radcliffe, structuralism of Levi-Strauss and Edmund Leach. Then there's cultural personality school, neo-evolutionism, symbolic and interpretative theory, and postmodernism, cognitive theories. These are something which are important because every year question comes from this particular section. So after analyzing them, this is important that we should complete this thing on priority basis. The 7th is the topic, that is language and communication. This comes under linguistic anthropology. Linguistic anthropology, its nature, origin, characteristics of language, verbal, non-verbal communication, etc. will come in this area. In this chapter 8, we will be doing with research methodology. This is very important. You will understand how fieldwork tradition started and what is its relevance. We'll also discuss about distinction between the technique, method and methodology. What is the difference between technique, method and methodology? Tools of data collection, etc. See, it is important for every student to complete this video because this will be an introduction to the subject. If we are having knowledge of the subject, then we can study what we can also collect that if there is something which is related to a particular tribe. Okay, if something is related to tribe, we can use it as a case study. So unless and until we do not know in what paper tribe will come or in what paper what topic will come, we will not be able to write down the answer, right? The paper here 9, the chapter 9, it will be your physical anthropology. Physical anthropology will start from paper 9 and then it will continue. In unit 9.1, the mostly focus will be on human genetics. 9.2, Mendelian genetics, man family studies, single factor, multi-factor, lethal, sublethal. 9.3, it will be concept of genetic polymorphism and selection, Mendelian population, etc. 9.4 will deal with chromosome and chromosomal aberration. At the same time, we will also deal with certain abnormalities like Turner's, Klinefelter's, etc. syndromes. Some are the chromosomal and some are the autosomal. So what is the difference between chromosomal and autosomal and what type of question comes in the examination will deal in this topic. So certain things that you should have is Down syndrome, Patau syndrome, Edward and Crichton syndrome, genetic imprints of human descent, etc. In 9.5, we'll study this topic, race and racism, biological basis of morphological variation in human being. What are the factors which are related to the changes that human is having in its body, like environmental, biological basis, etc. In 9.6, we'll do with age, sex and population variation as genetic marker, blood group, etc. We'll also deal with the respiratory functions and sensory perception in different cultural and socio-economic group. In 9.7, we will do ecological anthropology. 9.8 will be epidemiological anthropology. 10th will be concept of human growth and development. In 11th we will be doing important topics such as relevance of menarche or menarche, menopause, what is menarche, what is menopause, and other bio events to the fertility and fecundity, etc. things will be discussed in unit paper 1 chapter 11. In 11.2 we will be discussing demographic theory such as biological theory, social theory, and cultural theory. So these are the areas from where a lot of question comes. Physical anthropology and sociocultural anthropology, they breed a lot of marks for a student, so it is very important in order to complete them on priority basis. Paper 2 will do with application of anthropology such as anthropology of sport, nutritional anthropology in designing of defense and other forensic method of principle of personal identification, DNA technology, human genetics, etc. For example, paternity diagnosis, genetic counseling, and eugenics. This will be important. In 11.2 there will be evolution to Indian culture and civilization. The thing that we are going to discuss here is basically the growth of the culture in Indian subcontinent. We'll also talk about the prehistoric, proto-historic, that is Indus, then pre-Harappan, Harappan, and post-Harappan culture. We will also talk about the contribution of tribal culture to Indian civilization. Okay, so now here the paper 2 has started. So in unit 1.1 these are the things that we are going to do. In chapter 1.2 of paper 2 we will be dealing with anthropological evidences from India with special reference to Shiva Lake and Narmada Basin. As you people have heard that Ramapithecus, Shiva Pithecus, and Narmada Man, these are some of the forms. So in chapter 2 we will study the demographic profile of India, and in chapter 3 we will come to the Indian culture, that is caste system in India, where we'll deal with structure and characteristics, Varna caste, theory of origin of caste system, that how caste originated. Then we will discuss the concept of dominant caste, caste mobility, future of caste system, Jajmani system, etc., tribe caste continuum. In 3.3 we will also deal with the sacred complex and nature and man spirit. These are the two things. Here we will also discuss about some personality which are associated with this thing, like nature, man, spirit, and sacred complex. Then we will study the impact of Buddhism, Jainism, and Islam and Christianity on Indian society. Impact of Buddhism, Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, and Christianity on Indian society. In chapter 4 we will talk about the emergence and growth of anthropology in India, contribution of 18th century and 19th century, etc. So here we will discuss about the scholars. Then in chapter 5.1 the Indian village, here linguistic and religious minorities, their social, political, and economic status. We will also deal with 5.3 indigenous and exogenous presence of socio-cultural change in society. These concepts are important here: Sanskritization, westernization, modernization. In 6.1 we will start doing tribal. This is important in order to study the complete thing. Indian society cannot be complete unless and until we assimilate tribal in that. Then there will be biogenetic variability, linguistic and socio-economic characteristics of the tribe. Problem of tribal community. For example, what can be the problem of tribal community? Land alienation, poverty, indebtedness, low literacy, poor education, unemployment, underemployment, health and nutrition are some problems which are associated with tribals. Then we will next we will move with the developmental projects. See, developmental projects can be important for the national growth, but at the same time the price can be paid by the people who are living in the area. So impact of urbanization and industrialization on tribal population we will study here. In 7.1 we will deal with the problems of exploitation and deprivation of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other backward class, constitutional safeguard for scheduled tribe and scheduled caste, social changes, contemporary tribal, etc. In 7.3 we will come to the concept of ethnicity, ethnic conflict, political development, unrest, etc. among the tribal communities. Then there is regionalism and demand for autonomy, pseudo-tribalism. This is important because a 10 marker can directly come in the exam, or 5 marker, that what is pseudo-tribalism. Then social changes among the tribes during colonial and post-colonial era. In unit 8.1 we will study the impact of Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam and other religions on tribal societies. So this is what we have to do here. Then we will discuss very important thing, tribe and nation concept, comparative study of tribal community, etc. That is in India and other where we will draw some kind of India's map, and then we'll draw African map country, right? So here will be some Australians, Aborigine, here there will be Bushmans of Kalahari, then a lot of tribes which are there throughout the world. So we will do a comparative analysis of them. Then we will do the history of administration of tribal area, tribal policies, especially focusing on the Forest Right Act. We will do that. And then in 9.2 we will do the role of anthropology in tribal and rural development. The last topic that we are going to deal today is the contribution of anthropology, the contribution of anthropology to understanding regionalism, communalism and ethnic and political movement. Okay, so gentlemen, what are the books that you should have in order to complete for tribal? You should have Nadeem Hassan's Indian Tribe, a great book to read, but selective topics. In order to have a short and crisp note, brain tree is something which is recommended, but I would recommend it for the certain topics that we will be doing further. So make sure that you are limited to certain points. Then Muniratnam Reddy's notes is available in the market, and they are good for as far as the paper 2 is concerned. For Pinath is there, Pinath for physical anthropology. Okay, so I would request you to start attending the lectures and do not miss it. See, our approach will be writing a question, then we will do the basic introduction, and we will write the answer. At the same time, sir, we will also begin how to write answer. If the time permit, we will also start the mechanism of analyzing the answer. And I would like to say that this is the end for this video, and we will begin our course as soon as this continues. Thank you. Have a great time ahead.